Hey Bestie, welcome back to episode 4 of Bestie. Let's talk. First of all, I am so sorry if I let you down and I disappointed you because I did not post my episode on Thursday like I was supposed to, but we had some technical difficulties and the audio was so bad. So here I am again refilming it, but we're going to make the best out of it. Before we get started, I want to show you guys one of my favorite pieces from my merch collection. It says, "Hey Bestie," and it has two smiley faces. This is like a beige color, and this crew neck again is one of my favorite ones because the material is so thick and on the inside is so cozy and so warm. I love it so much. This is just one of the pieces that I'm going to be releasing. There's other pieces in the collection, and as soon as we get a new launch date, I will let you guys know when it's launching. So now let's talk about Thanksgiving. Okay, first of all, let's talk about how our Thanksgiving was and everything. So let me tell you, Bestie, I decided that I was going to make Thanksgiving dinner for us, the family, for all four of us. And I mostly did it because Liam was so excited for Thanksgiving. This year, they explained to him the meaning of Thanksgiving and all that in school. So he was like, "Mom, are you going to make turkey like this and that?" And you know, Bestie, I'm not the best cook, to be honest, but I can try. So I told Jason, you know what? I want to be like the mom that makes everything from scratch, that has like the one recipe in the family that everyone loves. So I told Jason, I'm going to make everything from scratch. The mashed potatoes, the gravy, the mac and cheese, the green bean casserole, the turkey, everything, everything. So there I go, grocery shopping. I buy everything that I need. And then the night before Thanksgiving, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get started with the chocolate cake. It shouldn't be that easy. It takes about 45 minutes to like stay in the oven and cook. And then I'll be able to go back to sleep, wake up the next morning, and then I'll just do the rest. I ended up going to sleep at 3 in the morning. That was also the night that we were like struggling with the audio because we usually edit a day before we post the podcast episode. So here I am, super stressed that the audio is horrible, and then I'm taking forever with the chocolate cake. Finally, the chocolate cake comes out perfect. It smells delicious. I go to sleep at 3 in the morning, and then I wake up at 7 in the morning to get started with Thanksgiving dinner. Now, here's where it starts to go a little bit wrong. I had told Jason, you know what, if I wake up at 7 in the morning and start working on all of my sides, I'll be done by 10 in the morning, and then I'll put in the turkey in the oven 10:30 the latest. Turkey takes 3 hours, and it should be ready like around 1:30 or 2. Around 2 p.m. we'll start eating, and then we'll head out to your mom's house at 5. That was my plan. Okay, that was my plan. And I was also planning on vlogging for y'all, like making it seem like y'all were in the kitchen with me and we were like cooking together. Bitch, that did not work out. Let me tell you why. It was so stressful to be in the kitchen cooking everything from scratch. Like everything. And the turkey would not cook. I would like open it, like check on it every hour, and it was still raw. And then I would check on it again and it was still raw. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I am never doing this again. Next time I'll just buy everything pre and just put it in a nice little plate, like a serving plate, and just pretend like I cooked it, because it is a lot of hard work to make a Thanksgiving dinner. No wonder they call it Thanksgiving dinner, because everything was ready at around 4:30 p.m. My goal was to be done like around 2 p.m. and I finished at 4:30. So I literally spent like almost the entire day in the kitchen cooking. Like, that is crazy. So if you're a person that hosts Thanksgiving dinner every single year, props to you, because that is very hard. But at the end, it was definitely worth it. I made a chocolate cake that was so good. It had like coffee inside. I know it sounds very weird, but it was delicious. The boys loved the dinner. Liam was so happy. Liam was like, "This is the best day ever." So we had a really fun time. After we had dinner, we headed out to Jason's mom's house, and they made mole, they made tamales, because if you're Mexican, if you're Hispanic, you know that typically you don't have like your typical like turkey, mashed potatoes, and like green bean dinner. It's more like pozole, menudo, or like tamales, mole, like all that stuff. So we went to go have some mole, tamales, and pozole, and it was really good. Then we played some loteria, came back home, and here we are now the next day. Now I'm getting ready for Cyber Monday, because I know there's going to be a lot of good deals, and that is an excuse to go shopping. But let me know, how was your Thanksgiving? I really want to know. Now let's go back to what today's episode is going to be about. I feel like I got too carried away with like Thanksgiving, and you're like, hello, Pita, what is this episode going to be about? So I was thinking about what were we going to talk about in today's episode, and I was a little bit nervous because if you guys notice, I don't have my special guest next to me. I'm writing solo today, and I think it's like this is the second episode that I do with myself. The other two were with Jason. So I was like, what are we going to talk about? And then I post on my Instagram if you guys wanted me to talk about relationships, heartbreaks, healing, or if you guys wanted me to talk about like mommy shaming, postpartum, or just being a mom. And you guys wanted more of like relationship advice, like all that kind of stuff. But I still am going to make like another episode about being a mommy, postpartum, and like all that stuff. But today's episode is going to focus on that. Heartbreaks, relationships, healing, self-love, all of that good stuff. So before I met Jason, I was in a relationship for a very long time. This was a long distance relationship. And ever since then, Bestie, I have learned that most of the time, long distance relationships don't work. Now, I'm not talking about everyone because I have met people that, are in a long distance relationship. They get married and they have kids and they live happily ever after. But for me personally, I learned that long distance relationship did not work at all. So this love was, I want to say like my puppy love. It was my first love. I thought it was love, but it wasn't love. And now with Jason, Jason is my true love. With Jason, I realized that that wasn't love. It was most like a puppy love, And so in this relationship, a lot of things happened that really hurt me, but also made me the person that I am today. So when I was in this relationship, like I'm telling you guys, it was a long distance relationship. I was very young. And so when we were in the relationship, when you're in a relationship, us as women have like an intuition. Like when we know something is up, like most likely something is wrong. Like when you're like, am I overthinking it? Like that overthinking 90% of the time is right. So everything was like doing really good. But then I got like that little feeling inside of me. Like I started overthinking. Oh my God, maybe he's like talking to other girls. And I was like, no, maybe I'm like overthinking it. But then I realized that he was cheating on me with one girl. And here, Bestie, is where I should have ran away because there were so many red flags, yet I decided to stay. Don't ask me why. When you're in love, you do dumb things. And I feel like when you're in love, you don't have like your eyes fully open because you're so like in love, you know what I mean? So he cheated on me with this girl. And I confronted him and he said, no, like, I'm sorry. Like it wasn't even true. He had a way of like, I guess you could say like manipulating me, like making it seem like you're overthinking, like whatever, like, he's right and you're wrong, Pita, which now that I look back at it, I'm like, oh, I was so dumb, But then again, I was very young and it was like my first love. Like, what did I know about love? Nothing, right? So I forgive him. And I tell him, okay, you're right. I'm sorry. So I forgive him. And then time passes by and here comes a second girl in the picture. So now he cheated on me again. And guess what? Yes, I forgave him again. And this time with the second girl, it was kind of like, what the heck? Like again? But then I forgave it. I was like, no, like it's not going to happen again. He promised me that, he's not going to do it again and he's going to keep his promise. But I was really wrong. So then after the second girl, I really started thinking like, do I want this? Like, is he going to keep his promise or is he not? Because in my head, I was like, yeah, he's going to keep his promise. But like deep down in my heart, I knew like, something's not right. So then that's when I was like, you know what? I'm just going to leave him and I'm going to focus on myself and like do my own thing. So I let him know like, hey, I don't want to be in this situation anymore. Like I'm done. I'm leaving. So I left. And then when I was just about to move on, when I was just about to like completely heal, boom, he would show up in the picture again and somehow convince me to go back to him. And I would go back to him and then we would argue and then be like, I'm done. And then I would leave. And then again, I was like in the peak of completely healing and he would come back again. It was like a endless circle, non-ending circle that would just keep hurting me. And I would just keep going back and back and back. It's like every time he would see me that I was doing good, that I was moving on, that I was happy, he wouldn't like it and boom, just show up in the picture again. And here we would go again to the non-endless cycle. So I decided to go back. He convinced me. I go back and, everything seemed good. I'm like, okay, maybe this time it's gonna work out. It was my first love. Like, I wanted it to work. I was like, kind of like, I guess you could say, not obsessed, but I was like determined. Like, I'm gonna make it work because I've seen people that, they marry their first love, they have kids with their first love, and I wanted that. Like, I wanted it so desperately. So we make it work. Days pass by, months pass by. Everything seems really good. I'm like, okay, maybe he did change. And then boom, a third girl. Third girl, bestie. Yes, you're hearing it right. Third girl comes into the picture. And this time, like, I just felt it in me that this girl was different. Like, everything just felt different. And so I confront him and I'm like, that's it. Like, 3 times, like, this is ridiculous. Like, it's insane. Like, what is going on? Like, like, what? Like, am I not enough for you? I think at this point, when they cheat on you multiple times, you really start like questioning yourself. You start thinking, is it the way I look? Am I not giving enough? Like, are they better than me? You kind of like start comparing yourself to the other person. And that's when I realized, like, oh no, this is like not good, because I was about to change the person that I was for him. And I was like, no, Pita, let's not do that. Don't ever change who you are for someone to love you. So I really started comparing myself with these girls. Like, is there something wrong with me? And I just knew that it was just time for me to leave. Like, there was nothing there for me in that relationship that was good for me. I just kept getting hurt all over again every single time. So I tell him, like, what's up? Like, do you not want me? Like, what is going on? And I remember he vividly told me everything just feels different with her. And at that moment, it was like an eye opener. Because to be honest, I feel like whenever you get hurt so many times in a relationship, you go numb. Like, you don't feel anything. Like, at this point, whenever he told me like everything's just different with her, like, I was just shook, but I didn't cry. I didn't do anything because I was numb. So at this point, I'm like, okay. And I hang up. And when I hanged up, I sat there and I was really realizing, like, is this what I want? Like, do I want my partner to always be cheating on me? Do I want to go to the grocery store and leave and be like, oh my God, maybe he's texting some other girls while I'm at the grocery store. Like, did he really go to the gym? Did he really go grocery shopping? Like, I wonder what he's doing. Like, I didn't want that. I didn't want to like constantly be overthinking, and like the trust was gone. And once there's no trust, like there's nothing. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, and I realized we only accept the love that we think we deserve. And I was like, I am so dumb. I deserve so much more than this. Like, what am I doing here? I've been here for a very long time. I forgave and I forgave and I forgave, but obviously I'm never going to forget. So I was like, what am I doing here? Like, I need to leave, and I need to leave now. I also realized that you don't hurt the people that you love. That was also another big eye opener for me. I feel like a lot of things happen in a relationship that you go numb. And when you're like fed up, you're like, I'm done. You really start looking at things completely different and you're like, what am I doing here? Like, you start realizing so much. So I'm like, I need to leave, and I need to leave now. Now, did I want to leave? No, I didn't want to leave because, like I'm telling you, I thought this was my first true love, which now I know it wasn't, but at the time I did. And I was like, no, I have to make it work. Like, it just has to work. And I also learned that I can't force something that is not meant for me. So when I realized all of that, I was devastated. I was hurt. I was heartbroken. And I felt very broken. And when I say I was broken, I don't mean like, oh my God, I can't live without him. He's like my entire happiness. No, I mean like I was broken as in I was hurt to start all over again. That is how much this relationship had hurt me. I was scared to love again. I was scared to be myself, to, let my walls down, to let my guard down, to wear my heart on my sleeve. I was terrified. But I was telling myself, like, what are you doing here? You're in a relationship that is already broken and you're trying to put these pieces together. You're trying to fix it. Yet I'm getting hurt in the process of fixing it when it's already broken. You cannot fix something that is broken because you're going to get hurt in the process. And I was like, yeah, this is my sign to leave. Like, he's never going to change and I need to leave now. So then I tell him, like, I'm done. I'm completely done with you. And, I feel like when you're like kind of like in a toxic relationship like that, sometimes the guys have like a way of saying things that make you really question yourself. Like, am I wrong? Like, are they right? Maybe I'm wrong. Like, maybe it's me. Because I remember when I told him, I'm done, he said, if you leave me, you'll never hear back of me. Like, making it seem like I was missing out on a lot. And right there is when I had to make the decision of, do I stay or do I leave? And I think I was already so hurt and I was so numb that I didn't care anymore. And I was like, I'm done. Like, I'm done. I don't care if I never hear of you again. Like, boy, bye. I'm so done with you. So I left the relationship. And when I left the relationship, when I first left it, it was hard, but I think it got harder with time because, you think that this is your person, but it's not your person. But also in the process, whenever I left the relationship, I realized a lot of things. I realized again that we only accept the love that we think we deserve. And I knew I deserved more. I had good days. I had bad days. I had days where I wouldn't even think of him. And then I had days where I would completely break down and I wouldn't want to do anything. I wouldn't want to get out of bed and it would hurt a lot. But then I knew that time will heal and that time will make it better. So then I decided to really focus on myself, on my self-love, because I realized that if I didn't love myself, I couldn't love anyone else. So I decided to really focus on myself and put my happiness as an individual first, because I realized that with my previous relationship, I had gave my everything to this person. I had made this person my entire world. I forgot about myself. I put all their needs first, everything that they needed first. And so when that person left, I was like, what do I like to do? What are my hobbies? What are things that genuinely make me happy? Because I hadn't put myself first. Of course, yes, you have to love your partner, but you also have to put your happiness first because you don't want to forget about yourself. Because what if one day they do end up leaving you or something happens? Like, life can go so many different directions that you never know. So I feel like it's important to always put your happiness first and put yourself as an individual first. So I started focusing on my hobbies. What did I like to do? I started doing ballet folklorico. I started doing horseback riding. That was so much fun. I remember horseback riding. I did that for, I want to say, 2 years. And it was the most fun thing ever. I really miss it a lot. Hopefully one day I can go back to horseback riding because your girl used to be good. I used to gallop. I used to be really good taking care of my horses and everything. So I really miss that a lot. I also did a drill team. I did drill team for, I want to say, 3 years. So that was also another passion of mine. I've always loved to dance. So I did drill team. I would work and then I would just try to like work as many hours as I could because I realized that whenever I was just laying down in my room at night, I would just like be thinking and thinking and thinking. So I would try to keep my mind busy all day. So then I would be so tired when I got home and I would just like knock out and not think of anything. I would also go out with my friends. I would do my makeup. I would sit in my vanity and I would turn on the music. Like, music can be so therapeutic in like times like that when you're going through a heartbreak, because like I said, I had days where I would just cry and cry and cry and I'd be like, no, like, why is this happening to me? Like, I don't understand it. Why me? Why couldn't I get lucky and just have one love? Why do I have to go through this again? Like, do I even want to be in another relationship? And I had bad days and good days, but on my good days I would like to sit in my vanity and do my makeup and try to see what outfits I was gonna wear and go out with the girls, hang out, have a good laugh, just enjoy life. Because honestly, I was thinking last time and I was like, we are only young once. Like, we're never going to be this age again. Like, if you're 18, if you're 19, if you're 20, if you're 25, if you're 28, if you really think about it, we're never going to be this age again. We're never going to be this young. So let's enjoy life, travel, live your life. Do not give an F about what anyone else says about you. Because honestly, if you sit here and you try to please every person in this world, you're never going to be happy. So just live your life. Do what makes you happy, travel, go out with your friends, have a drink, be single and ready to mingle. You guys know what? There's nothing wrong with being single. I always get so many messages telling me like, hey Pita, you're 24 and you have your life so put together. I'm 25, I'm 27, I'm 28, and I don't have any kids. I don't even have a boyfriend. I have really bad luck in love. And I'm just like, girl, enjoy life. Do not worry about not having a boyfriend. Don't depend your happiness on anyone else. Don't do that. Live your life. Have fun. Like I said, travel the world, go to different cities. I don't know, if you love to paint, go take a wine and paint class. If you love to, I don't know, go wine tasting, do things that genuinely make you happy. Do not worry because you don't have kids, because you don't have a boyfriend, because you're not engaged. Everyone has a different time in their life that everything is going to come to them. Don't ever compare your life to anyone else, because the moment that you start comparing your life to someone else's life, you're going to be miserable. Okay, just because they have something at the age of 21 and you don't have it at the age of 21 doesn't mean that you're not going to have it. You might get it at the age of 25, 26, but it's eventually going to come to you. We're all walking at different speeds in life, so don't ever compare your life to anyone else's life, because that's not good. So just be yourself, live life, be happy, be single, ready to mingle, bestie. Because I feel like when you settle down and when you have kids, your life completely changes and you're never going to get that freedom back again. So if you're watching this and you're young, or even if you're like 30, 35, and you don't have a boyfriend yet or a husband yet, or you don't have kids, like, don't worry about that. I feel like there's so much pressure into thinking like you're 25, you should already be kind of like done with college. You're 30, you should already be married with kids. And it's like, no, I honestly think that there is no timeline to life in able to be successful. Like I've always said it, but I generally don't think that you have to graduate at 18, go to college, graduate like 24, get engaged, get married, have kids, and then buy your home or travel. Like you don't have to do certain things in life in a certain order. Like you can do them in whatever order you want to do them. As long as you complete them, that is totally fine. So once I realized how important self-love is, I was like, this is so important. Like this is exactly what I need. I shouldn't let my happiness depend on anyone else. I can love myself. And when I learned self-love, that also really helped me a lot. You want to know why? Because I knew that I loved myself enough at this point. I focused so much on loving myself, just me, that I knew that if I would ever get into a relationship again and I was put in the same situation, first of all, if I ever get cheated again, Bestie, there is no but, ifs, or why, or try to explain. Nope, I'm done. Like if Jason was to like ever cheat on me, or if I find out that he's talking to another girl, like, ooh, Bessie, you don't even want to know. You don't even want to know. There's like a whole different side of me that he hasn't met, but he gonna meet that day, because I feel like I learned to love myself so much that I'm never gonna put myself through that again. And if I ever get a feeling, or I suspect that is happening or is happening, I love myself so much that I would instantly walk away, even with kids. Even because I have both of the kids, it doesn't mean that I'm going to say, oh no, I will walk away. I would take both of my kids and I will walk away, because now I love myself enough to not put myself through that pain ever again. Sometimes I tell Jason, I'm like, boy, if I ever catch you talking to another girl, or if I ever find out you're cheating on me, like you don't even want to know what's coming your way. Like he will know a whole different side of Pita that he has never seen before. And sometimes, Bessie, I don't know why I do this. Like, am I the only one? Maybe I'm just a little over dramatic, but I play little scenarios in my head and I'm like, what would I do if like I ever do catch him like talking to another girl? Am I gonna be like, what the heck is wrong with you? Like, I can't believe you. Or am I gonna be like, I knew it, I'm done, bye? Or am I gonna be like, I can't believe you did this to me? Like, like I played little different scenarios in my head. Last time I made a TikTok about this. If you guys haven't seen it, it's on my TikTok at Makeup by Pita. I literally made a TikTok like, what would I do if I ever find out my boyfriend is cheating on me? And just like that, I play little scenarios in my head. But like all jokes aside, like I always tell him, like, the day that you don't love me, like just tell me, like don't even cheat on me. Because I feel like cheating can be very hard to deal with, like mentally, because you really start questioning yourself. Like I'm telling you guys, like, am I not enough? Like, what happened? Where did I go wrong? So like I always tell him, like, if you don't love me, like just tell me, like no hard feelings. Like I'll be like, ooh, like it's gonna hurt, but I'd rather walk away than for you to cheat on me and for me to go through that pain again. So yeah, I always tell him, joking around, I'm like, boy, I wish you would do that to me. Like you can catch these hands real quick. I honestly feel like sometimes I talk so much and I go from one topic to another topic, and sometimes it doesn't make sense. So I am so sorry, bestie, but just bear with me. Give me time and then I'll become a pro. So now that I told you guys how I focus on self-love and like all that stuff, then came healing. I needed to heal completely. And when I say I needed to heal, I had already focused on myself. But when I was in the process of my self love, I remember that I would wake up and I would think of this person. Like it was the first thing that I would think about. And I didn't want that. I wanted to completely move on and completely heal, because I feel like you can move on, but if you don't heal, do you truly move on? Does that make any sense? So I wanted to move on and completely heal and never look back at it. So in the process of healing, I really had to sit down and forgive myself, because I felt like I was still blaming myself for a lot of stuff and I knew that wasn't good. So I would force myself, like maybe it was my fault because I didn't live close to him, or maybe it was my fault because I wasn't good enough for him. But then I realized that it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault that I got hurt. It wasn't my fault that he didn't appreciate me. It just wasn't my fault. I had no control over that. And you want to know why? Because I learned that you can't force things. You cannot force a conversation. You cannot force a friendship, a relationship, or anything in general. If something is not meant for you, it's not meant for you. Because you can cry all that you want and beg for it and say, I'll do anything. But if it's not for you, it's just not going to happen. And when something is meant for you and you're like, oh no, like I don't want this person to have it. Like, people try to take it away from you. Even if people try to take it away from you, it's going to come back to you because it's meant for you. So then I learned to forgive myself, because like I'm telling you, I would wake up like, I'm so dumb for allowing this. I'm so dumb for, forgiving him, like all this stuff. I would blame myself for everything. Everything was my fault. And then I realized like, this is not my fault. It's not my fault. I need to completely heal to move on. I forgave myself. I was like, you know what, Pita, you were a good person. You gave it your all. If this person didn't appreciate you, someone else is going to walk into your life and appreciate everything that you do. So I would try to write everything down, everything that was like hurting me at the moment, everything that was bothering me. And then I would go back, look at my journal in like a week or two and see if I still felt that way. And at the end, when I would go back to my notebook, I would read it and I'd be like, oh my God, I was so hurt. But I wasn't anymore, because I was healing. I was learning to heal and I was learning to focus on myself and not think of this person anymore. So then I finally would wake up in the mornings and I would go days and months without thinking about this person. And when that happened, I was like, I am completely healed. Like, I want nothing to do with this person anymore. They're a chapter in my life that is always going to be there, but I don't want to go back to it. I don't want to relive it, because I feel like in our lives, we have chapters. Our life is a book and we have a lot of different chapters. And whether we like it or not, those chapters are always going to be in our lives. Some chapters are good. Other chapters are bad. My chapter was horrible and I don't want to go back and I don't want to relive it. But then again, it's there. It's part of my life and it makes me the person that I am today. So I'm not mad that it's there, because that chapter made me the person that I am, and it led me to Jason. And I met Jason. Whenever I met Jason, I was like, this is the reason it didn't work out with the other person, because everything was meant to be with him. Now, when I met Jason, meeting Jason really caught me off guard, because I feel like I was so focused on myself and everything that made me happy that I didn't even see it coming. Like, boom, it just hit me at once. Now, I was also very scared, because I was like, do I let my walls down? Do I stop wearing my heart on my sleeve? And then I realized like, no, I'm going to keep on wearing my heart on my sleeve, and I'm going to keep on being the loving, caring person that I am. Because what if there's someone out there that is going through a really dark time in their life, and I walk into their life and I'm that light that they needed in their life. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's why you should never change the person that you are, because you never know when someone out there can need someone like you to light up their life. So then when I met Jason, I started letting my walls down little by little. I didn't completely drop all of my walls at once. I was very careful. I was like, I need to take this very slow because you never know what can happen. So we started to know each other. And then if you guys have watched the previous episodes, you guys know how we met each other. Don't ever settle for less. If you are in a relationship and you're thinking, I don't know if I should be here, or I think I deserve more. Like, again, we only accept the love that we think we deserve. So if you know that you deserve more, then you deserve more. Like, if you know it, then you know it. Don't settle for less. Don't change the person that you are or your way of being just because life treats you so bad. I know that sometimes we can feel like the entire world is against us. Like, why me? Why is this happening to me? Like, but always remain yourself, remain who you are, and don't ever change. And someone will walk into your life when you least expect it, and that's going to be your person. Now, how do you know when that person is your person? You know that I was sitting down and I was thinking, like, how do you know when the person is the one? And I just couldn't write anything on my notebook. I couldn't put it in words. I honestly think that when that person is your person, you just know it. Like, you know it. It feels like you can talk to them for hours. You feel comfortable. You feel like you've been knowing them for a long time. It's like your best friend, but even better. They want the best for you. Like, I'm just trying to put it in words, and I don't know how to explain it. If you know how to explain what it feels like, or how do you know when you find your soulmate, can you please let me know in the comments down below or send me a message? Because I've been trying to put it in words for the last couple of days and I just can't think of anything. The only thing I can think about is that you just feel comfortable with them. Everything just feels right with them. It feels like wherever you go, as long as they're there with you, that is home. Like, whenever I'm with Jason, I feel like Jason brings a whole different side of me out, because I feel like when I'm with him, I'm more fun. Like, does that make any sense? Like, I feel like I'm more like serious, more put together when I'm with myself. And when I'm with him, he's so goofy. He always makes jokes. So I'm always like joking around with him, and we always laugh and we giggle, and like we're both very weird, but it's like in a good way. Like, he gets me and I get him. Like, we just understand each other so well. I cannot picture my life without Jason. And there's going to be things in your life that are going to happen that you're like, why me? Like, I don't understand why. Like, why is it happening to me? But then years are going to go by, or maybe months are going to go by, and something's going to happen in your life, and you're going to be like, this is why it didn't work out. This is why it happened. And for me, whenever Jason arrived into my life, I was like, this is why it didn't work out with the other person. And I wouldn't have it any other way, because Jason really taught me what true love is. And I'm so glad that he came into my life at the perfect time. And you know what? Looking back at my old relationship, I think to myself, like, girl, what were you thinking? Like, I was crying for that guy, like, so embarrassing. Like, what? So cringe. Like, I don't even like to think about it because I cringe so hard. Like, has that ever happened to you? You're hanging out with your friends and they're like, oh, do you remember when you used to talk to this guy, or you had a crush on this guy, or you dated this guy, and you're like, don't even dare bring that up again, because it is so embarrassing. Like, you don't even like to talk about it. Another thing I wanted to talk about, since we're talking about relationships, and I hear this a lot, that's why I wanted to touch on this topic. I always hear, some people say, like, oh my God, did you see how fast she moved on? She moved on so fast. Like, I don't get it. Like, I could never. And I'm not gonna lie, whenever I hear that, it kind of bothers me a little bit, because I feel like sometimes people are so quick to judge, and you never really know what goes on behind closed doors, or what happens in between that relationship. And, me going through the previous relationship that I went through, where they cheated on me several times, I can kind of give you an idea of why you move on too fast, if you could say. And when I was in this relationship, like I'm telling you guys, I was being cheated on multiple times. And I feel like when the person you love hurts you so many times, you go numb, you're tired. You get to a point where you don't even feel anything anymore. And every single time they hurt you, you love them less. So you try to communicate with them like, hey, like, you know what you're doing, and you communicate, but then eventually nothing is being fixed. They keep on being the same way that they are. You cry, you feel hurt, you feel like, do I even want to be here? I should leave. But yet you stay because you have that faith that it might work out, or they might finally listen to you, or they might finally change and it's going to work out. So then when you realize that they keep on doing it again and they're never going to change, that's when you hit your breaking point and you're like, I'm done. But you're done at the moment, but you've been done months ago or days ago or years ago, whatever the case is. But you finally have your breaking point where you realize, like, I don't want it. I'm done. So then when you leave the relationship, yes, you just left the relationship for people, but mentally you checked out of the relationship a long time ago because you were dealing with, I guess you could say, like the breakup in silence without anyone knowing it, because you stayed there trying to make it work, yet they didn't listen. They didn't want to make it work. So you just gave up. You were like, I'm leaving. So yes, sometimes women move on too fast, I guess you could say, but it's because they probably already like mentally checked out of that relationship a long time ago. You know what I mean? So that's why I wanted to put that out there. Like, if you just got out of a relationship and, you know, you hear people saying like, oh my God, you just left them and you're already talking to someone else. Don't listen to anyone else. Do what makes you happy, okay? Because sometimes you meet a person and you've been with them for 10 years and it doesn't work out. And then sometimes someone else comes in your life and you just started meeting them for, let's say, a year. But with this person, you're experiencing things and you're feeling things that you didn't feel with the person you've been for 10 years. Like, time doesn't really matter. All that matters is what you feel, and your intuition will always tell you what's right. Always follow your intuition, follow your heart, and follow what makes you happy. You know what I mean? Because I feel like at the end of the day, that's important. Your happiness is the only thing that matters. So always do what makes you happy. If you're going through a heartbreak right now, I know it's going to hurt a lot. It probably hurts right now and it's going to hurt for a while, but just know that the pain you're going through right now is nothing compared to the happiness that is waiting for you. Everything eventually is going to work out for you, and your person is going to come in your life when you least expected. And please do not settle for less. I'm going to tell you guys something that my dad told me when I was like in the process of healing and like finding my self-love and like all that stuff. I remember that he told me, he was like, you need to know what you want and be firm with what you want. Because let me give you an example. He told me, if you were to ever move into an apartment and you're trying to furnish your apartment, you know an idea, you have a vision of what furniture you want and how you want to decorate it, right? And so when you go to the store, 50% of the time you're going to find what you're looking for, and 50% of the time you're not going to find what you're looking for. Now, here's where you need to make the decision. Do I wait and be firm on what I want and just wait to see if they have that piece of furniture somewhere else? Or do I just find something similar around the store and settle with that? That's where you have to make the decision. Because if you settle for something that's not exactly what you wanted, and then you take like that piece of furniture, we're putting like, you know, the furniture as like an example. Not that I'm saying like a person is like an object. I'm just saying like as a reference so you guys can kind of like understand what I'm saying. If you take that piece of furniture home and time passes by, you're going to keep on looking at it like, it's not really what I wanted, but I settled for it. You know what I mean? But deep down inside, you know what you want, but you just took that piece of furniture because it was like the closest thing you can find. So don't settle for less. Know your worth. Be firm on what you want. And, you know, if you're meeting guys and they're not what you wanted, they're not what you expected, then keep on dating. That's what dating is for. You date people to get to know them better until you meet the love of your life. There's nothing wrong with dating. And, you know, and if you have really bad luck in love, don't give up. Be that hopeless romantic person. Just keep on giving it your all. And then eventually someone is going to walk into your life and you're going to be like, it was definitely worth it because this is my person. So if you're going through a breakup, don't worry. You know, eventually this pain will go away. It's okay to have days when you're not okay because honestly, it's okay not to be okay. So if you feel like crying today, cry, let it all out. But tomorrow, make it a better day. And if you're someone that already found your soulmate, you found the love of your life, you're happily ever after, I am so happy for you. Let us know your love stories in the comments down below, because I really love to go through the comments and like read your guys' story, because I feel like I get to know you a little bit better. So if you guys have any love stories that you guys want to share in the comments down below, please leave them down below so I can like go through my comments at night and just lay on my bed and just like reading everything. Also, let me know what topics you guys want to hear in the next episode. Do you guys want Jason to join us in the next one? Do you guys like Pita solo? Let me know down below. Really hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast. If you're enjoying it, don't forget to leave a review. If you're watching through YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and give it a big thumbs up. I love you guys so much, and I will see you next Thursday. Love you, bestie.